Are you ready? Christmas, the season of lights, laughter, and warmth. But on Christmas, darkness hides in simple sight, waiting for the moment people let their guard down. Tonight, you will hear 4 true horror stories that all happened during the holidays. A man who sings jingle bells outside your home. A family ambushed in the mountains. A fake Santa trying to break into a child's house. And a stranger who stalks a boy for years. Turn off the lights, put on your headphones, and prepare to see Christmas in a way you never have before.
My name is Gregory, and every December, whenever I hear jingle bells, whether it's in a store, on a commercial, or playing from a speaker somewhere, I freeze. My skin prickles, my stomach drops. Because for me, that song isn't joyful anymore. It's a reminder, a trigger, a warning. A reminder of the night I realized how terrifying a human being can be, even when all they're doing is standing in front of you and singing. It happened last year, the week I had to stay home alone while my girlfriend went to her parents' place for Christmas. I live in a quiet town in upstate New York where houses are spaced far apart and everyone leaves for the holidays. On that week, I was the only soul left on the block. At first, I enjoyed it. Silence, peace, no noise, no interruptions. But the quiet, that heavy stillness, was exactly what made everything so much worse later. It was my second night alone. The sun had set before 6 p.m., and the yard outside was covered in a fresh layer of snow. I was eating my simple homemade pasta with the TV on just to make the house feel less empty. Somewhere between bites, I heard something strange, faint at first, almost hidden beneath the TV. But then I recognized it. Someone was singing. I muted the TV. The singing grew clearer. A man's voice, slow, off-key, dragging like he was forcing each word out. I walked to the front door, and with every step, the voice grew louder. Jingle bells, jingle bells. When I opened the door, a man around 35 stood under my porch light. No hat, thin coat, staring straight down at my welcome mat as he sang. He didn't acknowledge me at all, just kept singing like I wasn't there. I tried to smile awkwardly, assuming he was some sort of lone caroler, although I'd never heard of a grown man doing it alone. I listened. I waited for him to finish, but when he did, he didn't leave. He just took a breath and started the song over. This time, he lifted his head and made direct eye contact with me. A cold, sinking feeling washed over me. I finally thanked him and slowly closed the door, but even after it shut, the singing continued, relentless, loud, right outside. I couldn't eat, I couldn't think. After 10 long minutes, the singing stopped. The silence was instant and unnerving. I checked the window. He was no longer on the porch. He was standing at the end of my driveway, perfectly still, facing my front door. No singing, no movement, just staring. I cracked the door open and told him to leave. He didn't react, not even a blink. I threatened to call the police and shut the door. When I looked again, he was gone. I went upstairs to calm down and read a book. For a moment, I almost convinced myself everything was fine, until about 20 minutes later, the singing came back from the backyard. My heart dropped. I ran to the window and saw him standing directly below my bedroom window in the snow, his face tilted up toward me, singing Jingle Bells in that same slow, broken voice. When I shouted that I would call the police, he stopped instantly, and then he sprinted. He sprinted toward my back door so fast, he vanished from my sight in a second. And then the screaming started, a horrifying, animalistic scream, raw, guttural, deranged, the kind of sound that doesn't feel human. His screams echoed across the yard as he slammed, kicked, and clawed at the back door, trying to get inside. I ran into my bedroom closet, locked the door, and called 911 with shaking hands. The house trembled with every impact. Every second, I expected the door to burst open. Then, silence. When the police arrived, they confirmed the back door was still locked, but the footprints, oh God, the footprints, they were everywhere in the snow, right below my window, leading to the door, leading into the woods, and disappearing into darkness. The police said to just keep the doors locked. Easy for them to say, because now, whenever I hear Jingle Bells, I don't hear a Christmas song. I hear a man in the dark staring up at me, singing with a voice that wasn't joyful at all, only empty, broken, and unhinged. I never learned who he was, never understood what he wanted, and the scariest part, he was never found.
When I was 6 years old, I thought the world was simple, safe, predictable, a place where bad people only existed in stories and real evil only lived in nightmares. But that illusion shattered on the night I went to see the Dallas Mavericks play. My family had been talking about the game for weeks. My dad had saved up for the tickets, and my mom packed snacks for the road. I remember pressing my face against the car window as we approached the arena, staring at the glowing lights, the crowds of blue jerseys, the booming energy that echoed even from outside. A 6-year-old doesn't notice danger. A 6-year-old notices cotton candy, noise, and giant mascots dancing at halftime. We found our seats, high up, but still perfect to me. The court looked enormous from where I sat. The squeak of sneakers, the roar of the crowd, the blinding scoreboard, it all felt magical. Somewhere in the middle of the second quarter, I finished my drink and asked my mom what to do with the empty cup. She pointed toward a trash bin a few rows up the aisle and told me to be quick. I didn't know that walking those 20 steps alone would change my life. I remember carrying the cup in both hands, trying not to spill the ice. I tossed it into the trash, feeling proud that I had done something grown-up. I turned to head back when a voice behind me said, "Hey buddy, are you lost?" I stopped. He wasn't wearing arena staff clothes, not a uniform, not a badge, just a gray hoodie, jeans, and a baseball cap pulled low enough to hide most of his face. But he smiled, and for a moment, that made it seem fine. "No," I said, "my parents are right there." The man crouched to my eye level. "Are you sure? This place is huge. It's easy to lose your family. Come on, I'll help you find them." He reached for my hand. I should have pulled away. I should have yelled. I should have known something was wrong. But I was 6, and he sounded kind. So when he took my hand, I didn't resist. He led me up the aisle, away from my parents, away from the crowd noise, away from everything safe. "We're going to the upper level," he said. "From there, we can use the announcement system to call your parents' names. That sound good?" At 6 years old, the idea of hearing your name boomed through the whole arena feels exciting.
Or at least it felt exciting until we reached the hallway outside the seating section. It was quiet, too quiet for a game this big. I tugged my hand slightly. I don't think this is the right way. His grip tightened instantly. It's the only way. His voice was no longer gentle. He walked faster now, pulling me along the carpeted hallway until we reached a heavy metal door marked Emergency Exit, Stairwell. He glanced left, then right, and pushed the door open with his shoulder, trying to guide me inside. And that was the moment something inside me, instinct, fear, something primal, finally screamed that this was wrong. I jerked my hand as hard as I could. His grip slipped. I ran. I didn't look back, not even once. I sprinted barefoot. My shoe had fallen off at some point, through the hallway, back toward the roar of the crowd. I collided with a concession worker who steadied me and asked where my parents were. I didn't answer. I just kept running until I found our section again. My mom held me, confused and worried, but I told her I just got lost. I didn't tell her about the man. I didn't tell anyone. Kids hide fear differently. I hid mine by pretending it didn't happen. We left after the fourth quarter. My dad carried me on his shoulders back to the car. I wrapped my arms around his forehead, feeling safe again. But safety is fragile. As we merged onto the highway, headlights suddenly flared behind us. A truck, driving too close, too aggressively. It followed us for miles. I turned in my seat. Through the windshield glow, I saw a silhouette in the driver's seat, leaned forward, focused, watching us. I didn't know for sure it was him, but I felt it. When we finally reached our neighborhood, the truck slowed, then peeled off into the darkness. My parents joked it must have been some jerk in a hurry. I forced a laugh, but my stomach twisted. That night, I woke to a bright circle of light dancing across my bedroom wall. A flashlight. It moved slowly, deliberately, like someone tracing the shape of the window frame. I sat up, heart pounding, and then I saw him. A man standing outside my window, tall, still, holding the flashlight against the glass, trying to look inside. I couldn't scream. My voice died in my throat. I crouched behind my bed until the light finally disappeared. In the morning, I told my mom. She brushed it off as headlights from a passing car. I let her believe that. Days afterwards, he came back. Sometimes he knocked on the front door, sometimes the back. Sometimes he walked up and down the driveway with his hands in his pockets. My parents saw him once. He wore a friendly smile, held a stack of papers, and said he was handing out flyers for a lost dog. He seemed harmless, but when he smiled at me, it was the same smile he used in the arena. My parents apologized after he left. "We didn't let him in," they said. "He's probably just trying to help someone find their pet." I knew better. A year passed with no sign of him. I started sleeping again. I started smiling again. Then, on my 7th birthday, a note appeared in our mailbox. There was no envelope, just a folded sheet of paper. Inside, written in uneven capital letters, "I still remember you. We'll meet again." My mom dismissed it as a prank. My dad threw it away. But I kept thinking about the arena, the stairwell, the truck, the flashlight, the smile. I'm 16 now, and even after all these years, I can't watch an NBA game without feeling sick. The sight of an arena crowd on TV makes my chest tighten. The echoing sound of bouncing basketballs reminds me of that hallway. And mascots, those big, harmless, goofy mascots, make my skin crawl. I haven't been back to a stadium since that night. I can't. Even driving past one makes me sweat. I check every window in the house before I sleep. I double lock every door. Sometimes I wake up convinced I saw a flashlight beam on my wall, only to realize it's just the streetlight outside. But other times, I'm not so sure. Evil doesn't always disappear. Sometimes it waits. Sometimes it learns your routines. Sometimes it remembers you. And sometimes it promises to come back.
There are places in the world where the silence feels wrong, where the cold is too sharp, the shadows too still, and the air seems to hold its breath, waiting for something you can't see. The mountain where my family went to cut our Christmas tree was one of those places. We didn't know it at the time. We thought it was just another winter outing, a charming little adventure to bring home the perfect tree. Something simple, something innocent. We were very, very wrong. I was 12 that year, old enough to notice things adults brushed aside, but still young enough to think everything would turn out fine. My mom sat in the front seat humming Christmas songs, and my dad kept commenting on how fresh the mountain air would be once we got up there. The deeper we drove into the wilderness, the more the holiday spirit faded. The pine trees grew denser, the road narrowed, and the snow piled high along the edges like silent white walls. By the time we reached the clearing where people usually parked, our cell service had already dipped into a single bar. My dad laughed it off. "Just means peace and quiet," he said. But even then, even before anything happened, I felt uneasy. There were no other cars, no footprints, no sound except the wind cutting through the trees. We were completely alone, or so we thought. My dad carried the handsaw, and my mom wrapped her scarf tighter as we moved into the forest. Snow crunched beneath our boots, soft at first, then deeper and heavier as we walked farther in. Every tree looked perfect, tall and bright green under the pale winter sun. We joked, we argued over which tree was the one. We took photos. For a while, the forest felt normal. Then we saw him. A man stood between the trees, maybe 15 yards away, half hidden behind a trunk. He wasn't wearing a coat, just a thin flannel shirt and torn jeans, completely wrong for the freezing cold. His arms hung stiffly at his sides, and his head tilted ever so slightly, as if he were studying us. At first, Dad raised a hand and waved. The man didn't wave back. He didn't smile. He didn't blink. He just stared. My mom whispered, "He must be lost or homeless." But something about him felt wrong. The way his clothes hung off his body, the dead stillness of his posture, and the emptiness in his eyes. We moved on, choosing a tree farther away, pretending everything was fine. But every time I looked back, he was closer. 20 feet, 15, 10. Never walking, never moving when we looked at him directly, but always, somehow, closer. When we finally cut the tree and turned around, he was gone, just gone.
My dad laughed nervously. "Well, that was weird." We hurried back toward the car. The walk that had felt playful earlier now felt wrong. The forest seemed quieter, colder, heavy with a kind of tension I didn't understand yet. We reached the parking clearing and stopped dead in our tracks. Both front tires of our SUV were completely slashed. Not punctured, not slowly deflating, but brutally, deliberately shredded. Deep knife gashes cutting through the rubber like someone had attacked the tires over and over. My mom covered her mouth. My dad cursed under his breath. And then, from between the trees around the clearing, shapes began to appear. 5 at first, then 7, then more. People, dozens of them, all dressed in ragged clothes, some barefoot in the snow, some wrapped in scraps of blankets or mismatched layers like they had been living in the forest for years. Their hair was matted, their faces hollow, their expressions empty. None of them spoke. None of them shouted or ran at us. They just walked, slowly, deliberately, surrounding the clearing. My heart hammered so hard I could barely breathe. My dad stepped in front of us, gripping the small handsaw like it was a weapon. My mom fumbled for her phone. 1 bar of service, barely a connection. She dialed anyway, hands shaking so violently she nearly dropped the phone. The figures kept coming, closer, closer, their feet crunching in the snow, their breath fogging in the cold air. But still, not a single word, just silent, unnerving purpose. When my mom finally managed to connect with 911, she almost sobbed the words out. "We're being surrounded. Our tires. Please hurry." The dispatcher said a car would be sent immediately, but out here in the mountains, immediately didn't mean much. The group tightened its circle around us. Slow steps, no hesitation. Every instinct in me screamed we were about to die. My dad started shouting, "Back off! Stay away!" But they didn't react, not even a flinch. They just kept coming. I don't remember crying, but tears were freezing on my cheeks. My mom held me so tightly it hurt. Then, far away through the trees, sirens, a faintest echo but unmistakable. The figures paused, not all at once, but like a wave moving through them. Then, without a single word, without any signal or shout or warning, they turned, every one of them, and slipped back into the forest like they had never been there. By the time 2 deputies arrived, lights flashing bright against the snow, the clearing was empty again, completely empty. Except footprints, dozens of them, deep, heavy, chaotic, and going farther than we could see. One of the deputies followed the tracks for a while before stopping and turning back, his face pale. "Those people weren't hikers," he said quietly. "Whatever they were, they've been living out here a long time." We asked if they knew who the group was, if similar incidents had happened before, if we were in danger, but the officers didn't have answers. They only told us we were lucky, very lucky. We left the mountain that day in the back of a police car, watching the forest fade behind us. For years afterwards, I couldn't shake the feeling that the trees were watching us leave, that somewhere behind those dark trunks, those people were still standing there, still staring, still waiting. Even now, as an adult, winter forests feel wrong to me. The silence feels too similar. The cold feels too familiar. Sometimes when I walk through snow, I remember the sound of all those footsteps, crunching closer and closer. My family still believes we were being ambushed, that we had wandered into some kind of hidden settlement deep in the mountains, and those people planned to take us. Maybe for supplies, maybe for shelter, maybe for something worse. We'll never know. But whenever I see snowy pine trees, I remember their blank faces, their slow steps, their silent approach. And I remember one thing clearly. Somewhere out there, they are still living in those woods, still watching, still waiting, and they know how to find anyone who wanders too far in.
When people think of Christmas night, they imagine warmth, laughter, family, light glowing through windows, hot cocoa on the stove, the comforting hum of holiday music. But Christmas can be quiet too. Too quiet. Quiet enough that you can hear every creak of the house, every rustle of wind outside, every footstep that shouldn't be there. I learned that when I was 9 years old, on the night a man dressed as Santa Claus tried to get into my house. My mom worked evenings during the holidays. She managed a small store that always got overwhelmed during the Christmas rush, so she would sometimes get home late. My dad wasn't in the picture, and we didn't have nearby family, so on certain nights it was just me. I was used to it. I'd do my homework, microwave something simple for dinner, and sit on the couch watching cartoons until I got sleepy. Nothing exciting, nothing dangerous. But that night, I barely sat down when the doorbell rang. It startled me. We didn't live in a busy neighborhood. We didn't get many visitors at all, especially not after dark. For a moment, the house felt colder, quieter. I walked slowly to the foyer, standing on my toes to peek through the small frosted window beside the door. And there he was, Santa, or at least something wearing a Santa suit. Red coat, white fur trim, a hat slightly askew, but the beard was wrong. It hung crooked, too thin in some places and too thick in others, like it was glued together from scraps. His eyes were sunken behind it, dark and restless. He saw me. He leaned closer toward the window, and he smiled. I froze. Then he lifted gloved fingers and knocked, slow, deliberate taps. Knock, knock, knock. "Hello there," he said, his voice muffled by the door. "You doing okay in there, kiddo?" Every instinct told me not to answer, but I was 9, and he was Santa, and some part of my young brain still wanted to believe in Christmas magic. So I whispered back, "What do you want?" His smile widened unnaturally. "I'm just going door to door tonight. Thought I'd check in. Are your parents home?" My throat tightened. He pressed his face closer to the glass. "You're not home alone, are you?" It felt like something cold crawled down my spine. I backed away from the door without answering. That's when the doorknob started to jiggle, gently at first, then harder. Metal clicked. The whole door shook slightly against the frame. He was trying to open it. "Hey," he said softly, almost playfully, "why don't you let me in for a minute? I've got something for you." No, no, no. I ran to the kitchen and grabbed the phone, dialing my mom's number with shaking fingers. She didn't pick up right away. I called again and again, until finally, "Hello? What's wrong?" "Mom, Santa's at the front door, and he's trying to come in." "What? What are you talking about?" Before I could answer, I heard footsteps, not walking away, running, fast, around the side of the house. Then, rattle, rattle, rattle. The back doorknob. He was trying that one now. My voice broke into a cry. "Mom, please come home, please."
"Stay where you are," she ordered. "Do not go near the doors. I'm calling the police. I'll be there as soon as I can." The line clicked off. I crouched behind the kitchen counter, clutching the phone so tightly my hands hurt. Every sound felt amplified. The groan of the heater, the ticking of the clock, the soft exhale of the refrigerator. Then another knock, this time on a different window. A softer, testing tap, like he was moving around the house, trying everything, looking for a weak spot. I pressed my hands over my ears, willing myself not to cry out. Minutes crawled by like hours. Finally, silence. I didn't move, not until I heard my mom's car screech into the driveway, followed by the slam of her door as she ran to the house. She burst inside, breathless, pulling me into her arms. "It's okay, I'm here, I'm here." But I kept repeating, "He was trying to come in. He tried every door." She didn't fully believe me, not until we saw him. A few minutes later, as she checked the locks again, she glanced out the window. A man in a Santa suit was walking down the sidewalk, slowly, casually, as if nothing had happened. She stepped outside and yelled, "Hey, did you come to my door?" He turned, smiling that same unsettling smile. "Oh, sorry if I scared anyone. Just doing a little neighborhood charity drive, collecting donations." He held up a plastic bucket that had no label, no organization name, just a cheap red pail. My mom didn't buy it, and the way he kept staring at me from behind her, the way his eyes dipped toward the side of our house where the back door was, she pulled me inside and locked the door. Later, we learned he had knocked on several other homes too. Some said he asked weird questions. Some said he rattled their doorknobs when no one answered. One neighbor said he walked around her house twice before leaving, but no one ever found out who he was. The police didn't catch him. Security cameras only captured partial glimpses, a red sleeve here, a white glove there, no license plate, no face, no identity. A man walking door to door in a Santa suit on a cold winter night, trying, testing, searching. He disappeared after that, just like he arrived. But for years after, whenever I heard a knock on the door in December, I froze. Whenever I saw a mall Santa, I felt sick. And even now, as an adult, when I walk alone at night in December, I find myself looking over my shoulder for a flash of red fabric, listen for the quiet, deliberate knock, or see those eyes again, dark, restless, and searching through a frosty window, because somewhere out there, someone once dressed as Santa walked up to my home, waited for me to answer the door, and tried to get inside. And the worst part, I never learned why.
Christmas is supposed to be a time of peace, a time of comfort and joy. But the stories you just heard remind us of a simple truth. Evil doesn't take holidays. And sometimes danger hides behind a red suit, a friendly smile, or the silent edge of a forest. If you enjoy real horror stories like these, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more. And remember, when the doorbell rings late at night, always check who's there, because what's waiting outside might not be who you think